Stop. If you are seeing this video, sis, you are a badass bitch. But maybe you just don't know it yet, or maybe you just simply forgot. So I'm here to remind you, welcome to the Real Baddie series. And in today's lesson, we're going to talk about never biting your tongue, especially for no man. Sis, if it's a feeling in your body or a thought in your head, you are valid and you need to tell that man. I don't give a damn how crazy or outlandish it might sound. And sometimes, maybe even most times, it's gonna be just that, crazy and outlandish. But a real man who really wants you is not gonna be mad that you acting crazy over him. But a man who is playing games and maybe doesn't deserve you and knows he doesn't deserve you is gonna make you feel bad about that every time. He's gonna make you feel bad about feeling those emotions. He's gonna make you feel bad about simply being a woman. We are emotional. And baby, that's okay. If a man cannot love you in all of your stages, even your crazy ones, drop his ass.
Yeah, because apparently real men are supposed to put up with this crap. Real men are supposed to put up with crazy women who will treat them like garbage. Okay, this whole thing about shaming men into putting up with behavior that is quite frankly unacceptable has got to stop. It really does, because all this encourages is men to put up with things that they have no business putting up with. If a girl's acting crazy, she's lashing out, she's spewing her emotions everywhere, you don't have to be there, guys. You can leave. It doesn't... these people want to frame it as though real men have no self-respect. And to me, guys, I find that pretty disgusting. I don't know about you. But anyway, guys, it is Taylor the Fiend back again with another response video. And on today's show, guys, we're going to be jumping into a couple of TikToks and looking at a couple of stories. But guys, before we jump into it, quick notice on the channel, we are currently over on Locals as well. So the link for that will be in the description, as well as the pinned comment. So be sure to go and check that out. You can join over there for free. And there's also a support link if you're interested. I know Better Bachelor's making the move over there and stuff like this. Because guys, I'm just going to put it to you blankly. YouTube does not like this kind of content. They really don't. We got a warning over here the other day. They didn't tell us why. But, you know, I don't know how long the channel will be around for. It could be around for a long time, very long time. It could be around for a very short amount of time. Who the hell knows? But, you know, content that goes against what this lady is saying here about, you know, content encouraging men to have self-respect, people don't like it. They like to keep men in this little hamster wheel where, you know, you'll be doing everything, trying to please your girlfriend, trying to please your wife. And that's where they think that men belong. Okay, I tend to disagree, respectfully. You know, as I've got to keep it between the YouTube guidelines, guys. But, you know, to summarize it, we're not out here putting up with things, that we have no business putting up with. Okay? But anyway, we're just going to jump back into today's video, guys. We're going to be answering this TikTok, going through it together. So be sure to leave your comments and thoughts as we address her particular points. And then we're going to jump into a story. But let's crack onto it and take it on bit by bit.
Stop. If you are seeing this video, sis, you are a badass bitch. But maybe you just don't know it yet, or maybe you just simply forgot. So I'm...
Yeah, and I mean, we're just starting off with the blanket level of entitlement. You know, I've got nothing against this lady. I really don't, okay? But this whole thing of, like, everyone's this boss lady, this boss person. I don't know about you guys, but I don't think everyone's a boss person. I really don't. You get all these ladies out here thinking that they're, you know, they're the CEO of some business, and you come to find out it's like this little lash drop shipping business, or they, you know, they do spicy work online. You're not the CEO. You're not a boss out. You know, you're not a boss. It just makes no sense to me, man. It's like people who, I've said this many times, but people who, if you're a boss, let me put it to you this way: if you're a boss, you've at least got to have a reason to be a boss. Okay, but right now these girls are walking around in society thinking that they're all that. They've got nothing going on. Like, I know you might see their Instagram and they're on like a boat here and there. It's not their boat, let me tell you that. You know, they didn't pay for the trip to that beach. All they're doing is they're trying to market to a guy that they think is above them in their social media. Like, a lot of these girls have nothing going on. I tend to believe, guys, that if you want to label yourself something, you should have the, you know, something to back it up. But, you know, attitude itself doesn't really suffice, in my opinion.
I'm here to remind you, welcome to the Real Baddie series. And in today's lesson, we're going to talk about never biting your tongue, especially for no man.
Yeah, guys, just let the emotions out on your man, and if he's a real guy, he's going to stick around and put up with it. I'm so sick of this. Like, I know some guys in real life who are incredibly successful. right? I mean, like, have, you know, they've put a lot of work into their careers, and they're at a place that most of us couldn't even imagine, right? And there's this one guy I'm thinking of in particular, and his wife just runs his life, man. Just runs this guy's life. And this guy has the kind of funds to be able to leave wherever he wants in the world, and yet he's sitting here putting up with his wife. And I know you might say, well, that's because of divorce and stuff like that, which is a fair point to make, man. But it's like, I see all of these guys doing so well in their life, or guys who put so much effort into their jobs, their hobbies. They've made it a long way, and they're still out here putting up with this crap because it's supposed to be happy wife, happy life. No, no, no. It's like happy life, guys. just the wife. If the wife wants to be there, if the girlfriend wants to be there, cool. If she doesn't want to be there, that's also cool. You gotta focus on yourselves, okay? Like, I hate this, man. It's like, uh, we're supposed to just put up with girls spewing out their feelings and emotions. And let me tell you this: if you're a guy and you want to do the same, you want to put out your feelings and emotions, please understand that will drive people away. No, nobody gives a crap about your problems as a guy. They really don't. You're welcome to go out and test it. You don't have to believe the little animated character on the screen right now. But you're welcome to go out and test it. Go lose your job and cry to your girlfriend and let me know how that goes, and come back in a couple of weeks. Let's continue.
Sis, if it's a feeling in your body or a thought in your head, you are valid and you need to tell that man.
No. Yeah, you see, that's just not how it works. That's just, you see, just because you feel an emotion doesn't mean that, one, the emotion is necessarily warranted. Like, just because you think, let me give you guys an example. Just because you think a guy is cheating on you doesn't mean that he's cheating on you. You know what I mean? Just because you think something, just because you feel something, doesn't mean it's true. It doesn't give you justification for going out and acting crazy. Okay, guys, emotions, for the most, perfectly valid. Okay, if you feel angry, if you feel happy, if you feel sad, that's cool. But that doesn't mean that they're always based in reality, and that's certainly no excuse to go and use them against other people. Guys, I've said this plenty of times on the channel, but if you want to talk about dynamics between your wife or girlfriend and stuff like that, we're not arguing with them. I don't encourage arguing. I think arguing is one of the stupidest things you can possibly do. Okay, let me know if you guys have gone through a conversation with your wife or girlfriend, and at the end she's sat down and going, "Oh yeah, that makes sense." You know what? It's like, you don't convince people with the words a lot of the time. Like, a lot of times when you get into an argument as a guy, all that people see on the other end is, "Oh, I got him emotional, therefore I win." Most arguments or discussions are just won simply by not participating in them, unfortunately. And I know that really sucks to say. There are certain situations where discussions are useful, but arguments and stuff like that, man, we're not having yelling arguments with these ladies, not at all.
I don't give a damn how crazy or outlandish it might sound. And sometimes, maybe even most times, it's gonna be just that, crazy and outlandish. But a real man who really wants you is not gonna be mad that you acting crazy over him.
That's disgusting. Like, again, I've got nothing against this lady, but that is certainly pretty disgusting. Encouraging people to stick around for your unacceptable behavior, I really find that quite reprehensible, especially considering this is a platform, guys, where, like, I want you to imagine you're a young impressionable man and you kind of search on there, how to get a girlfriend, or you come across this video and you think to yourself as a young impressionable dude, "Oh, well, I'm gonna do what I'm told. Like, I want to be a good boyfriend." So you listen to advice like this. Do you know where advice like this gets you? I mean, you know what? I'm just gonna pull it over and pull up the article real quick, and I'll show you where this kind of advice gets you. It gets you in situations like this. Mediation is not an option anymore, and as this pertains to divorce, guys, advice like this. Let me tell you where it puts men. It puts men in divorce courts, and it puts men in terrible situations in relationships where they're putting up with unacceptable behavior. Just straight up unacceptable behavior. And for what? So that women are allowed to, let out their emotions on someone? I don't think that's acceptable at all. I really don't.
Him. But a man who is playing games and maybe doesn't deserve you and knows he doesn't deserve you is going to make you feel bad about that every time. He's going to make you feel bad about feeling those emotions. He's going to make you feel bad about simply being a woman.
Yeah, I mean, I deserve. You ever ask these ladies, like, why do they deserve it? right? I'm sure you guys have maybe seen Fresh and Fit and stuff like that, who will ask these ladies, what do they bring to the table? And the answers are abysmal a lot of the times. You see, these people generally think that, all they have to do in a relationship is just show up, and then that just gives them an excuse to treat their partners like crap and let their emotions out on them. And I can't even use the word on YouTube, like the A word, right? And just A word them into staying. I don't know about you guys, but I'm considering as well, in the future, I might do like a video series just on manipulation alone. Because there's so many layers to this, man. I just feel like men are so behind because we're encouraged to believe this crap. Like, it's really quite disgusting to me. But anyway, we're going to move on with today's show, and we're going to jump into a couple of stories real quick here. So we're going to jump into the one which I just showed you guys, and the title of which is Mediation is Not an Option Anymore. So I'm not going to beat around the bush. We're just going to jump straight into it. Over a month ago, I don't know what this acronym is, so I'm just going to call it ex-wife. Over a month ago, my ex-wife told me she was divorcing me. From the beginning, she wanted to use a mediator. After some research, I also decided that a mediator was probably the best course, and I proposed a few options for attorney mediators who I was comfortable with. Despite my ex-wife initially trying to push me out of the house, we have continued to live together in the same house. She hates the current living situation. We don't know enough about this, but I just love how, it's just always the guy getting shoved out of the house. It could be her house, it could be his house, we don't know. But whenever I read these stories, guys, and this was just a random story that I picked on the subreddit, like it just in the top of in the top, not even sorted by like most popular or anything like this. Like this has 5 likes, guys. That's it. Okay, and I just love how it's just the man getting kicked out of the house. Now we don't know enough about it, but disgustingly common. Anyway. In the past few days, my ex-wife started texting me and emailing me about my aggressive, in quotation, behavior, and about how I am making her feel so unsafe that she has to leave the home at times. She sent the first text when I asked her to clean up food she left in the sink. Her statements are untrue, but I have to take these false accusations seriously. We have children and they are very important to me. Well, as they would be. We see so many stories, guys, and I'll continue reading in a second, but we see so many stories of like, oh, the dads are just deadbeats, right? The men just don't want to be in their children's lives, or the men are just these terrible creatures. And it's like, I've said this many times, but most men care very deeply about their children. Most men are not terrible people. Most men are good guys. They care about their family, they care about their friends, and they don't want to see anything happen to them. And, very importantly, they don't want to be taken away from their kids. I'm so sick of this narrative, man, that like all the dads are just deadbeat dads. Like, do you have those Chads and Tyrones that won't stick around for kids? Absolutely. But like, situations like this are all too common, where the dad genuinely cares about the child, and I'm sick of seeing things that say otherwise. But let's continue. Her texts and emails filled with lies have completely changed the nature of our divorce process. A mediator can't address this. I must find ways to protect myself. Our marriage counselor told me this might happen. Interesting that the people in the field already know that the man's going to get screwed over by false accusations. Isn't that interesting? That due to her mental health issues, my ex-wife might manufacture a false crisis that would paint me as the bad guy. I told the guy, no way, she wouldn't do something extreme like that. Apparently I was wrong. I'm not angry or hurt or panicked. I just have to adjust my approach to this divorce. For people on the receiving end of a divorce like me, this is why it's so important to stay calm and peaceful. If you give your spouse fuel, they might add it to the fire and throw you in. And for anyone who wants to send angry texts filled with exaggerated depictions of their spouse's behavior, it might feel good to vent in that fashion, but please think twice because such actions completely change the nature of the divorce process. You can't have an amicable and peaceful divorce if you send angry texts and emails. The funny part about that is, like, this is a very, very common practice for ladies to do in order to get custody of the children or your crap. Usually it's for the children, right? Is to say, well, the children wouldn't be safe with him. They'd be safe with me because my husband my ex-husband, depending on where they're at, is aggressive, right? And you'll see this all the time. Oh, the men are just these terrible people who deserve to have their kids taken away from them because he's not safe. I really don't like that argument, guys. I really don't. And something we're going to jump into last, which is something I want to talk about here. Let me see what I've got here. This is an interesting one. So we're just going to pull it up, have a read together, and talk about it. I, a 19-year-old female, am recently starting to resent my boyfriend, who's a 22-year-old male. We have been living together for a year and 6 months, I think. He's had a history of lying, not necessarily cheating, but lying about hanging out with his girlfriends because he doesn't want me to get mad. One time he went out of the city to go to a big city with one of his girlfriends I was worried about, and I found out through stalking her social media. Broke up after that, and 2 months later got back together again. My stupid behind. Anyway, last night I found out that he's still making plans with his girlfriend to have drinks and going out. He's known her since they were like middle school. Even his dad told me I have nothing to worry about. I don't give a F if they are completely platonic, but what really makes me mad is that he continuously lies about it in the name of avoiding arguments. Guys, the funny part about situations like this, now I'm not defending the guy's actions at all. I don't particularly care to be honest, I don't care about the guy's actions. I don't care about the fact that they got back together. But what I want you to kind of take away from this is it's very interesting to note how here's a little experiment you guys can do, right? So if you go out and you've got a girl mates in real life, what you can do is you can ask them about their relationships. You know, you can say, hey, like, you know, are you currently not to be seedy or anything like that, but you know, hey, are you currently seeing anyone, or how did you and your ex break up, or stuff like that. If you dig around and ask them about their relationships, and most people will be happy to tell you about their relationships because you know people like to talk about themselves. But you know, girls will tell you, oh yeah, I was with this guy and he treated me like crap. You know, he was lying and he did all of this kind of stuff and blah blah blah. And then you ask her about the boyfriend before that, and she'll go, oh yeah, he wasn't great too. You know, and what you'll notice is girls on average, see, they don't want nice guys. Don't get what you'll notice is that crappy behavior like this, what this guy's doing, you know, being non-transparent. I don't really have a judgment on the behavior, to be honest, but girls will stick with guys that make them feel anxious, that make them feel as though their position is in jeopardy, that lie here, that manipulate here, that do all of this crap, and they'll be around him because, oh, they just love him. He's difficult to get along with, but I love him. He's a mystery, right? But that nice guy down the street who's been, you know, trying to be her boyfriend for the past 5-10 years, he doesn't get a shot. You see what I'm saying? It's like, I read enough if you guys watch my channel for any length of time, you will quickly run out of empathy for girls who chase the bad boys. Because that's what they do. They chase the bad boys, and then they want to complain about his crappy behavior after repeatedly getting back with him. And you see, this is something that will continue well into their life, guys. I'm telling you, this kind of stuff will continue well into their life, and what will happen is these girls will get older, they'll hit 30, they'll hit 40, sometimes 50 and beyond, right? And then they'll want to go back to that good man who's now saved up enough money for his house. You know, he's got his life in order, and then they'll get married to him. Okay, they'll have a family because their clock's ticking, and they really want to have a family. And then you know, before you know it, we're over back to this article again. Okay, it's just this huge cycle, man. Again, like, no moral judgments on the people's actions in here. I personally couldn't give a crap. But please understand, like, if you're a guy watching this video right now, relationships like this are a cycle. And I don't want you guys to be on the receiving end of the cycle where this guy is. Okay, because that's where too many men end up. That first TikTok that we watched together with the lady, you know, saying, oh, you're all boss babes and all that kind of crap. This is where you end up if you listen to her advice. Okay, and I don't know about you guys, but I think that's particularly dangerous for men. I know a lot of you guys watch my videos and maybe you've avoided divorce or avoided marriage, excuse me, or maybe you're a guy who's gotten divorced and you're nodding along right now thinking to yourself, I wish I knew this when I was younger. I wish I knew this kind of crap when I was 20 years ago. Okay, because, you know, with the rise of TikTok and stuff like that, guys, this kind of crap is really getting worse. And that's why content like this channel has a lot of attention on it right now. We got a lot of you guys watching over here. Okay, because this is a huge damn issue. But let's continue. Then gets mad when I question him or check his phone and laptop. He already changed the passwords too. Anyways, I am just really over it at this point, but I honestly feel like I have to stick it through until I find a better space for myself, since things at my home are really bad. I mean, use whatever justification that you want, but the relationship is probably going to continue. Okay, girls get stuck in this loop, man. They'll sit in these situations for a good amount of time. and until either the emotions wear off or they realize that he's a deadbeat and he's not really going anywhere in life, and maybe they need that stability, like we were talking about before with the family. You know, girls like this. You know what? We'll come back to that point in a second. Anyway. He's the only person that's kind of making it a little better right now, since I can stay over pretty much all the time. When I used to find out crap like this in the past, it would make me so mad so often. But this time I really don't care anymore, because I just have way too much going on in my personal life, and I've come to the conclusion that he will probably never change. Is this the beginning of the end of our relationship? I love him, but one thing I truly cannot stand is someone straight up lying to my face. Yeah, you see, it's all the emotions, guys. It's the anxiety. It's the, what if I lose him? That's what makes girls fall in love. Not what we've been told. Not this be consistent. Not this be a shoulder for her to cry on. Not handle her emotions for her. You know? Guys, let me tell you this. There are dudes out here having fun with these girls, not paying a dime on dinner dates. Okay? And I don't have a judgment. If you, like, I've got nothing against dinner dates, personally, guys. Like, wouldn't it be great to be able to go out and spend some money on someone and have them appreciate it? But the problem is, most girls don't appreciate it. Okay? And we're kind of going to wrap up the video here, guys, with a couple of comments I want to make as well. Is, you know, girls date for different reasons than men. Okay? What will happen is these girls will go out, they'll have their fun in their 20s, their early 20s, stuff like that. And you know, as they kind of get older, what they realize is, okay, well, I've had a string of short relationships, medium-term relationships with all of these guys, but now what I need is I need to be able to settle down. You know, I'm not going to be young forever. I can't have a family forever. So what they do is they settle down for a long-term relationship with a guy that they don't necessarily respect, so that they can have their kids and get their resources. And this goes back into the comment I made the other day, guys, where like long-term relationships will usually be with a guy who has something that can provide something for them. You know, resources and stuff like that, and a guy who will stick around despite no matter how crap he's treated. The short-term relationships, the fun, right, the months here and there, those will be filled with the bad boys, and that generally doesn't stop, because the feelings will always be there. But guys, we're going to leave today's video there. As always, leave your thoughts and opinions in the comments. If you disagree with anything I've said, guys, feel free to do so. That is what the comments are for. But as always, we're going to leave it there. Make sure you check out the locals link in the description, guys. It's totally free to join. There's also a support option over there. So if you're interested in joining over there in case this channel goes somewhere, well, we'd love to have you over there. But we're going to wrap it up there. As always, guys, take care of yourselves, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.